Hello, I'm Chris Lewis. I'm a biologist with Fisheries and Oceans Canada in Iqaluit, Nunavut. I'm also the regional coordinator for the Coastal Environmental Baseline Program. This is a really cool program that works really closely with Indigenous and coastal communities to collect baseline data that's important to them and also helps to characterize the current state of marine ecosystems. Today we're here to talk to you about one aspect of the Coastal Environmental Baseline Program, which is the collection of underwater data that can be used to better understand what's happening in the underwater environment, how it's affecting the environment, and some of the different methods that we use to collect this type of data. Marine animals use sound much the same way that terrestrial animals or animals that live on the land use their eyesight to help them communicate, help them find their food, help them navigate or find their way around, and help them also to avoid predators. So you can imagine this would be difficult enough under normal circumstances, but it gets to be even more difficult when you have extra sounds in that marine ecosystem. Other types of environmental noise that can come from humans or just the regular environment. Understanding sound in the ocean helps us to see how the human-made sound could affect the health and stability of marine ecosystems. We use passive acoustic monitoring recorders or hydrophones to help us listen and record the sounds in the ocean.
I'm Usagak Jerry Agak, and I'm currently with the Coastal Environmental Baseline Program based in Iqaluit, Nunavut, Canada. And our team deployed and also retrieved hydrophones at selected sites in Frobisher Bay. And these hydrophone instruments were set out to listen to underwater environment, which can detect the sounds from marine mammals and ships, not make any noise disturbances to the marine environment. So our team can monitor the sounds from marine mammals and ships based on the data we've been collecting from these hydrophones.
We're here today to talk about some of the different components that we use on the line moorings here in Iqaluit. So right here we have the hydrophone device. We've got the antenna, hydrophone. They attach to the top of this great big capsule. There's also a couple extra plugs here too that you can remove and put back on the unit before deployment, but you take them off, hook them up to the laptop, and with the laptop and the software, you'll program the hydrophone to record. The device is so large because this one here specifically can hold 72 D-cell batteries. It also has 2 memory cards that have a total memory of just over a terabyte. So it allows us the options of deploying it for these short-term, maybe weeks or months, up to an entire year. We also got a subsurface mooring buoy here. This whole unit gets really heavy because, yeah, this is about 50 pounds as well. It's a really great buoy, very buoyant. It allows us to keep the whole mooring line upright, especially in the strong currents that we experience here in the Iqaluit area and Frobisher Bay.
Thank you, Chris. So here I'm holding an acoustic release, which is an instrumentational device where we can deploy and also receive these instruments from the seafloor.
When you're ready to release the mooring line and recover your instruments so you can download the data, we use what's called a deck box and another smaller hydrophone, which we put in the water. We'll turn the unit on and we try to get this hydrophone here to talk to this acoustic release here. And once they find each other, it'll tell you how far apart they are. And you'll also have other options here. And one of the options you can select is for the acoustic release to release or open. And what happens when you tell it to open is this bolt here unscrews, and everything from here up on your mooring line shoots to the surface due to the buoyancy of the mooring buoy. So we also talked about different components for the mooring line, but one of the components we're not showing you here today is the anchor rocks. So one of the unique things here in Iqaluit is that we don't have easy access to great big concrete mooring weights. So what we do is we get really creative We have lots of rocks here on the land, and we usually grab 100, at least 150 pounds of rocks, 2 or 3 great big boulders, and we'll put an anchor bolt in them. And the bottom of the mooring line is secured to that, so that when you deploy it over the water, it'll sink to the bottom. And then again, your mooring buoy will keep the whole line upright.
So getting a better understanding from the data we've been collecting from these hydrophones will help us to see how noise affects the health and stability of marine mammals in the future.